If you're in your 20s, you have absolutely nothing to lose. If you're in your 30s like me, you have so much freaking time. You have the ability to be unrecognizable in 6 months. You cannot do that unless those old habits die, unless the current version watching this video, the current version of you dies today, because it will never be easier than today to start. And what that means is that in 6 months, you could have a different body, a different job, a different significant other. You could live in a different state. You could be a completely different person with different habits and a different mindset. This video is literally just a story of the several times that I have changed my life and been unrecognizable in just a 6-month span. My name is Greg Lavecchia. I am the CEO and co-founder of Bloom Nutrition. We are on track this year to do over $600 million. Your ability to start is never going to be easier than it is today. It will be harder tomorrow, it will be harder the next day, and it will definitely be harder next year. I sit here today, I'm 31 years old. I've been an entrepreneur for about 11 years now. And I'm just gonna tell you firsthand, if you're in your 20s and I'm 31, and I make a lot of these videos for people in their 20s, and I'll get into that shortly, life just gets more complicated. And when your attention is divided, it is so hard to truly lock in on a mission. There's something called monomaniacal focus that I just heard my buddy Chris Williamson talk about on his podcast. And it's basically what you and I would just say, that guy's super obsessed on one thing. If you truly want to go after a moonshot and build something incredible, build something of substance, which I think I'm on the way of doing and I'm almost fucking there, it takes monomaniacal focus. That just gets harder every single month that passes by. I'm 31 years old now. I have a lovely baby boy upstairs with my beautiful wife. My parents are getting older. I have new responsibilities of just, my family is getting older. I have a child. I have a marriage. I have, homes now. Life has gotten more complicated. I don't even think I need to sum that up for you guys. It only gets harder to have that monomaniacal focus as your life gets more complex. And every single day, your life is going to get more complex as you age. So today is truly the greatest day that you can start going after your moonshot. And what is a moonshot? A moonshot is going after your dream, man. Your moonshot can be quitting your day job. Your moonshot can be moving to another state. Your moonshot can be finally losing the 50 pounds and turning into the physique that the world will treat you differently if you have, which they will, by the way. I can get into that in another video. My moonshot was building Bloom, and it was a 10-year monomaniacal lock-in that has turned into a almost $1 billion a year enterprise that I have been the CEO of the entire time. I co-founded the company with my wife. We bootstrapped the brand to $180 million, which means we had no outside capital. We eventually took on strategic partners such as Dr. Pepper and Nutrabolt out of Austin, Texas. And now we have Bloom Pop, Bloom Energy, and a Bloom Nutrition line that, frankly, would be harder if I tried to start all of that today. Am I still doing it? Yes. But I am telling you right now, it is so much harder than it was 5 years ago, than it was 10 years ago. And even 1 year ago. Let's talk about how much you can change your life in just 6 months so that you are truly unrecognizable at Christmas dinner in 2026. Now let's go back to the early days of Bloom. Mari and I, my wife and I, knew that we had to get the hell out of our hometown. This was probably in 2018. We packed everything we owned into the back of that truck. Our dog sat in the back seat, and we drove from New York to Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, because I Googled top cities for entrepreneurs and a Yahoo News article came up saying top cities for entrepreneurs, and Boulder was on the list. Mari and I were kind of into the outdoors, and we thought it'd be a great place to go lock in. We lived there for 18 months. I don't have a single friend in Boulder, Colorado at all. I didn't make one friend in Boulder, Colorado. Mari and I were stuck to the hip building this brand, building the foundation of this brand that exists today. But the reality is there was a 6-month window. There was a 6-month window in the latter half of that 18 months where Mari and I spent the first 3 months laying the foundation of calling manufacturers for our first pre-workout, designing the labels, creating the social media, creating the LLC, whatever it may have been. We started to create Bloom. And we made that pre-workout in probably 3 months. And we launched that pre-workout. And within 3 months, we knew we had not only did we have a proof of concept, but we fucking had something here. And that's how fast something can change. If you start the idea of a business today, by the end of this video, you could go make an LLC on like LegalZoom or whatever the hell you want to do. You can make the Instagram handle. You can buy the domain.com, and you can literally Start a business today. And in 3 months, you can have a product at a warehouse or in your attic or in your basement or whatever the hell you want that you are shipping out of your door. And 3 months after that's going to be Christmas Day. It's going to be the end of December. And you're going to say to people, yeah, I launched a business in the last 3 months. I've been shipping product out of my doorstep. And they're going to hear a cha-ching, cha-ching, because that's the notification sound that your phone makes when Shopify makes a sale. And they're going to say, what's that cha-ching noise that keeps on coming out of your phone? Why is that ringtone? You're gonna say, no, I'm making sales because I'm now an entrepreneur and I started a business. And that's the exact experience that I had. If you decide that you're going to go lock in for the next 6 months and be unrecognizable, and in an extreme scenario, then this is what I and my wife needed, you move somewhere to go lock in, and you spend every single day with that monomaniacal focus that I spoke about. I'm not talking like working from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. I'm talking working like 100 to 120 hour weeks just from when you wake up to when you go to bed for 6 months straight, you will truly have something. And if on top of that, you follow my first step of starting with a personal brand and you build that thing in public, just how we did, we were posting about building this brand from the day that we started this brand, you will truly have something in 6 months. And the reason this worked is because we turned 6 months into what a normal person, a status quo person, a normal person in society does in 18 months. We worked 120 hours a week. The average person works 40 hours a week. And if you're doing that with monomaniacal focus for 120 hours a week, you will do in 6 months what the status quo normal person can do in 6 months. That's what it takes. That's what I'm telling you to do. Most of the videos that I make, I talk to people in their 20s. The first reason is because I just lived my 20s. I'm 31 now, and I want to pass down the lessons and tribulations that I learned throughout my 20s so that you don't need to make the same mistakes, so that you can be further ahead than I am when you're 31. But the other reasons is because in the last 6 months, I've had to change a lot of my friends. My friend group looks completely different than it did 6 months ago, or at the very least is in the trajectory of completely changing because of the last 6 months. And something happens to men when they enter their 30s. They start to become content. They start to realize, hey, maybe that dream that I signed up for is actually, I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. They start to get content with a business that's just plateauing. They start to get content with their desk job. They start to get content with just drinking beers on the weekends and playing golf all the time. And they stop trying to be the best version of themselves. They stop trying to go after their moonshot. And I'm not sure what happens hormonally. I'm not sure what happens in society. I'm not sure what happens psychologically when you turn 30 years old. It's almost the same thing that I see happen when somebody starts to make a little bit of money and they start to get a little too distracted with how much fun they can have with a little bit of money, and they start to allow that to cannibalize the success of them changing the trajectory of their life and them continuing to grow what they originally started to build. And the only way that you can end up with something like Bloom, or where I think Bloom is going to end up, is by truly locking in for an extended period of time, and that's going to go into your 30s. And I'm not saying you need to not have fun for over a decade of your life. This has been the greatest journey of my entire life. I truly have so much fun every day, and if you watch my Instagram, I have a ton of fun. I just got back from mountain biking 10 minutes ago from my backyard trail that's in my house in Aspen, Colorado. But I know that if I was going to bet on how I can affect the most people, it's going to be the 20-year-olds that can watch this video. If you are in your 30s or 40s and you have the same mindset as me and you have not yet been brainwashed by content and society telling you, hey, you're getting too old, it's time to give up on your dreams, then continue watching, because this video is for you and I'm on your team, brother. I'm going to start with an example of how I changed my life in the last 6 months other than my friend group. That's the most recent, and then I'll go back to some of my earlier story. So first of all, 6 months ago, I started this YouTube channel. 6 months ago, I started posting seriously on Instagram. 6 months ago, I started to build a personal brand. And it's funny because it completely changed how I think about networking. I used to say, and literally in one of my first YouTube videos, I would say networking is a giant waste of time. Networking is something where people only want to network with you if you can provide them value. It is transactional. And if you have never created something of value, why would anybody want to network with you? You are wasting your time. Go build something of value and people will want to network with you. It's funny because as I've built a personal brand, I've completely changed, and call me a hypocrite, what I think about networking. If you build a personal brand through Instagram, through Twitter, through YouTube, through LinkedIn, I don't care what digital platform, the networking will come to you. The amount of inbound that I have been receiving of people who can cross-pollinate ideas and bring value to my life, and I can bring value to their life. And I am just changing the trajectory of my life because of something I started 6 months ago, which was intentionally building a personal brand and controlling the narrative around my reputation. That is something that you can do as well. Start posting content. It's 2026. It is 2026. Control the narrative around your reputation and start posting. And at the very least, a benefit that I have seen from this is it gives you so much accountability. You are creating a public diary of what you are building every single day. I even vlog my workouts. I post my workout every single morning. One, because I know it will inspire people to see what it actually takes to turn into the man that can handle the results of the business that we're all building here. But it's also because, dude, it helps me. Y'all help me stay accountable to stick to my workout every single day. Y'all help me to get to the office every single day first so I can post in my story that I'm in the office every single day first. That's why you build a personal brand. The networking will come to you. You will not need to spend so much time going to events and hoping to go meet somebody that can help you out. Instead, they will just come to you in this beautiful world that exists with zero borders called social media. Let's get into physique a little bit because I think this is important. And I'm into fitness, and one of the reasons fitness has been such a pillar for my life is, one, it taught me routine, it taught me self-discipline, it taught me how the reality of society is you are treated differently if you have a certain appearance. And that's not an opinion that I have, that's something that I've personally experienced. If you are in your 20s, or if you're somebody who has never built something and you want to be respected when you walk into a room, you need to be in good shape. Because the reality is most of the people that you walk into that room with will not be in good shape. And they will know what it takes to get into good shape. And they will immediately know that you are somebody that can be trusted, that can hold their word to a deal that they are going to work on or partner with you on. And if you are in shape, if you have a physique that they know takes real work, you will have an instant amount of respect as if you already have a resume of building things of status, of building things of value. This whole business, the foundation of it was built off of my wife's physique and mental health transformation. She lost like 90 pounds in 1 year. And we started to share it on social media. And that's what started our fitness guides and booty bands and eventually Bloom. And as we started to build that fitness business, we realized people love to follow along for weight loss. And because I was coming from a bodybuilding background, every winter I would just bulk. That's just like what I did. That's what all of us bodybuilders did a few years ago. You would do like a dramatic, dirty bulk in the winter, and then you'd shred down for summer. And if you documented that, you had unlimited content of building up your physique and then cutting down your physique into something that you could, present for the summer, whatever the hell we were trying to do. Every 6 months, we were completely changing the way that we looked, and people followed along. And I learned firsthand that you can completely change how you look in 6 months. I'll post a photo in this video of me at 240 pounds. I'm sitting here now at 195, and what I looked like in the beginning of a bulk and after a bulk, and how much that just broke the internet every time Mari would share these transformations. And although we had tons of clientele using our products, also having physical transformations, the fact that we could show people how much control we had over our bodies, we gained validity and credibility and trust to buy our products. So I have firsthand experience of completely changing my physique in just a 6 months window. All right, next one. Let's talk some big business. We were bootstrapped to $180 million. Bloom was at a point where cash flow is crazy. To be completely honest with you, we were probably like tens of millions of dollars in debt if you really wanted to like it was fine. We had it under control, but in a way we were tens of millions of dollars in debt. Cash flow was hairy. And I had to start pitching around to take on a strategic partner because my crazy ass knew that I really wanted to make a beverage. I thought it was a huge moonshot opportunity. I was 28 years old. My wife and I were 28 years old, and we wanted to go after one moonshot, our magnum opus, which we knew would be the beverage category because we knew Bloom could handle it with the credibility that the brand that we had created had. And I spent about 3 months shopping around to private equity, to strategic investors, and eventually I met somebody named Das Cunningham, who's the CEO and co-founder of Nutrabolt. You might know C4 Pre-Workout and C4 Energy, who had a strategic partnership with Dr. Pepper. And within 3 months, we were able to get a deal done where he bought 30% of the company, which at the time was about $90 million. So as a 28-year-old, I closed a $90 million transaction. Basically, all of that money went into the pockets of the shareholders, which was Mari and I and Leo. Leo's the president of Bloom, and my son's middle name is Leo. 3 months after that, we had a finished Bloom energy drink. And 3 months after that, we were on Target shelves. And we were setting sales records of cans moving to the cash registers at Target doors nationwide. And 3 months after that, we were on Dr. Pepper trucks starting a nationwide launch. So that's 2 6-month increments where Greg as a CEO, Greg and Mari as the founders of Bloom, Bloom as a brand, were completely unrecognizable. We went from some bootstrapped, self-funded, mom and pop, greens powder and nutrition portfolio brand that people kind of knew from TikTok to a serious runner for a top 10 energy drink. And today we're a top 5 energy drink in the US. We're available in probably 7 countries and we're in 60,000 doors worldwide. And that's because I locked the fuck in with my team, with my family, to be unrecognizable in 6 months. Within 3 months, we closed a $90 million transaction. 3 months after that, we had a beverage ready to go. 3 months after that, we were setting records at Target for a beverage that was launching out of the gate. And 3 months after that, we were on Dr. Pepper trucks preparing for a nationwide launch. You wouldn't even be watching this video if I didn't do that 6-month transformation. If I didn't become unrecognizable from the previous Greg. If that Greg who ran a Bloom Greens brand didn't die and turn into an energy drink CEO, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. I wouldn't be sitting in this backyard right now. I would still be living in LA, probably in a fucking Airbnb that I was living in month to month. That's the reality. That's how much my life changed in 2023 in just 6 months. And you know what happened when that transaction happened? We packed our bags and moved to Austin, Texas to take that partnership so seriously and work our asses off with all of those strategic partners and make all of that come to fruition, to come to reality. That wouldn't have happened if I didn't say, or if my family didn't say, we need to completely be unrecognizable in 6 months. We need to take this partnership so seriously. We need to pack our bags and move to Austin, Texas, which to us might as well have been moving to Australia, and go build a dominating energy drink. And that's exactly what we did. This one's crazy. I mean, this is like, I can't even, it's almost comical. It's making me laugh how much is happening in all of these 6-month increments as I talk to you guys, because it's like, I'm hoping this is just clocking how much can change in 6 months. 6 months after we launched that energy drink and it started to go on Dr. Pepper trucks, my team and I saw a massive opportunity in the better for you soda space. That's the Shirley Temple that I'm drinking right here. I saw Poppy and Olipop making hundreds of millions of dollars. I saw a formula that wasn't that great, a taste that wasn't that great, and they weren't talking to culture correctly by tapping into nostalgia. And that's how we came up with Shirley Temple. My favorite beverage growing up as a kid, and I'm sure many of y'all, if you're watching this in America, your favorite drink growing up as a kid was Shirley Temple. And I said, we need a healthy version of Shirley Temple. And so Bloom Pop was launched 6 months after Bloom Energy went onto Dr. Pepper trucks and started to become an incremental $150 million product line for Bloom. So now, 6 months later, Greg is the CEO, I am the CEO of a 9-figure nutrition portfolio, a 9-figure run rate energy drink portfolio, and a 9-figure run rate better for you soda portfolio. A year before that, I was living in California with just a nutrition portfolio. 2 years before that, I was living in New York, still selling booty bands out of my beautiful wife's beautiful father's attic. That's how much life can change in just 6 months. And you're still worried about getting, and by the way, do you think I had any idea how the hell to run an energy drink company? Do you think I had any idea how to run a soda company? I had no idea. I just knew that action was the answer. And the only way to find out was to enter the arena. There's no fucking textbook on how to launch a nutrition brand. There's no textbook on how to launch an energy drink. There's no textbook on how to launch a soda. You just go and you double down on what's working and you stop doing what isn't working. And you continue to make reps and decisions as fast as possible so that you get more wisdom of what is working and what isn't working. And the reality is you're gonna be like, oh my God, but these spaces are so saturated. Good. That means consumers don't need to be educated on what that product is. I don't need to teach anybody what an energy drink is. I don't need to teach anybody what soda is. And then on top of that, you're gonna say, but there's so many competitors because it's so saturated. You wanna know the best answer to competition? It's moved so freaking fast that they can't even catch you. When I was younger in my career, I would get, unfortunately, a little too obsessed with competition. And I would make some really toxically competitive decisions with my life, with our businesses, trying to go after one competitor. Many of those competitors do not even exist today. Unfortunately, they're gone. And I only say unfortunately because I know that they had employees, and I hate to think that those employees lost their jobs. But we took them out. And that only happened not because I was watching them and making competitive decisions against them. It happened because I was making decisions as fast as possible, so much faster than them, that we would progress so much faster that they couldn't even keep up. And once we started to move at that pace, I no longer had to look at competition once. I'm going to be very clear here. When we launched this soda line, there were people close to me that mocked the idea of launching this soda line. I'm no longer close to them. They said, the energy drink, sure, that was lightning in a bottle. We're really happy that you caught that lightning in a bottle, but there's no way that soda brand will work. And here's the part that nobody tells you. People doubting you is generally a better sign of potential success than people cheering for you. The greatest outcomes that we have ever had, we were doubted by a far majority. I'm talking at least 9 out of 10 people doubted us for every one of those decisions that we had. And the reality is the reason for that is because they recognized the risk, and they were also embarrassed that they weren't going after that moonshot themselves. Even just moving to Texas. Why would you move to Texas? Even just continuing to double down on Bloom, even though we started to have some initial success with it. Why would you go take another risk? Everything's going great. Why aren't you content? People will doubt you and mock you and say that a Shirley Temple Better For You soda isn't a good idea. Thank you so much for your advice. You can go continue doing what you're doing. I'm going to go do this over here. Thank you for doubting me. Please follow up in 6 months when I'm completely unrecognizable and this is a legitimate product line nationwide. That's what you're going to tell them. I am going to be the one person that truly gives you permission to overhaul your life tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is the day where you start a 6-month lock-in, a 6-month lockdown, and you start to uproot everything about your life that you know is holding you back. And a lot of that might just be your psyche. Some of that may be your friends. It may be your significant other. It may be the state that you live in. It may be the fact that you're just fucking out of shape. Tomorrow is the day where you change all of that so that in 6 months, on Christmas of 2026, you are unrecognizable. It is possible. I have done it a dozen times in my life. I just told you 5 or 6 examples. There's no reason that I am better than you. I graduated college with a 2.5 GPA and I'm probably rounding up there. None of this makes any sense, and that's why it worked. The people that you admire did not have certainty before they acted. The people that you admire just acted. That's the only difference. That is a controlled variable about the people who are successful and the people who aren't. The people who are successful acted. The people who aren't never acted. Tomorrow you act. I am giving you permission to act and overhaul your life tomorrow. All right, pressure makes diamonds. You've got 6 months. Time's ticking, baby. DM me, leave an Instagram or YouTube comment. Let me know what the moonshot is. Let me know how things are going the next 6 months. I try to respond to so many of the comments on Instagram and YouTube. It's really me. So let me know how I can help. Subscribe. I'm dropping one of these videos every week. I hope that was somehow helpful to at least know that somebody has done it. I am proof. You've got this, fam.